Hi Kirk, this is Alan Cocker with ABC, former hitting coach for the Colorado Rockies and the Seattle Mariners. I'm going to take a look at your video this morning. Kirk, the first thing I always look for with all hitters is just to make sure that we're under balance. And for me, balance is keeping our knees inside of our feet and then our head stays inside of our knees. Okay, that's a good balance setup. You're going to see a lot of different stances, a lot of different styles in stance, but the principle, the biggest principle that is applicable in this stage of hitting is just being under balance with knees inside the feet, head inside the knees. Okay. One thing I'd like to point out to you, we got just a little bit of a turned out foot with our back foot. I'm always a little leery of that when it's turned a little bit more towards the catcher. I'd like to see guys keep that back foot just a little bit more squared up to home plate, where it's pointing forward just a little bit more. Sometimes causes some problems later in the swing, but we'll just run through yours and take a look. Okay, the first phase of hitting is loading. Okay, and loading is gathering energy to the inside part of this back leg. And what happens a lot of times when this foot gets turned out, this knee will get outside this back foot. Okay, as you can see here, we're starting to take this knee outside this back foot so the weight gets on top of our leg and as opposed to the inside part of this back thigh. And I think the one thing that would clean this part up would be just getting this foot more squared up and more turned in towards home plate. Okay, we'll run this forward, take a look at the completed load up phase. Again, I'm loading energy into my back leg, all right, right into there. All right, we're going to run forward, we're going to run forward. Most hitters, the first thing that happens is the toe will touch. It is not until the heel plants fully into the ground right here, am I fully loaded and down and ready to make my first move into the baseball. I'm sure you've heard that term, get your foot down. Just need to know that it's not until the heel's down am I loaded up and ready to start my first move into the ball. Okay, the first move into the ball, it starts with the lower half. Direction to the baseball and drive through the baseball happens with the lower half. Excuse me. Okay, so once we get to this position, this loaded position, the heel's planted, I look for a few things. All right, I want to make sure that my stride foot is no more open than 45 degrees. We're at 57 right here. 57 degrees open is going to cause a few things. I want to stay square with my hips. You can see here your hips are starting to open just a little bit early. The other thing that happens is I want to have good equal bend in both knees. Okay, you got good bend in your back knee and your front knee is starting to straighten out just a little bit, and that's all caused by this front foot. If I could keep this front stride foot more at a 45-degree angle, that's going to keep my front side in there a little bit longer as opposed to this front hip wanting to leak open, okay, and start my swing going towards the pull side of the field. Okay, as I mentioned before, the first move is driving this back knee forward. Okay, all the weight that I've stored into the inside part of this back leg, I'm going to drive this forward and I'm going to shift that weight into the front leg, inside part of my front leg, or the inner thigh of my front leg. As that happens, okay, I'm going to drop this elbow, back elbow, right here. I'm going to drop it down into a slot right off the rib cage. Okay, let me run that back, my fault. Right off the rib cage and the back hip. Okay, so I'm getting drive and power with my lower half, and now I'm going to get into a connected position where my back shoulder, my back elbow, and my back hip are all in an alignment. Okay, right here. This is the connected position. So now the power that I've created with my lower half driving into that front leg will add up through this connection. Okay, once I get to this connected point, now my hands will start to work in front of my body. As you can see, your hands now have started to work forward. We're going to get them just past your center of gravity, which is your belt buckle or your belly button. Okay, and then my hands will continue to move forward in front of my body and take the bat to contact. Okay, so we'll run it forward. We're in a good position here. All right, right? We've got a good bat lag, meaning your barrel is following your hands. We're not exposing the handle of the bat too early in the hitting area, okay? We'll run this forward. We'll take it to contact. And the only reason that you banged this ball into the ground basically is the ball got a little bit deep. You did have just a little bit too much of an open stride foot, but the ball basically got just a little bit deep on you. Okay, so once we get to contact, all right, we're looking for, as you have here, we're looking for palm up, palm down, and we are looking for head and eyes, looking right down the barrel of the bat at contact. I want you to know, Kirk, that at contact, it's important that my head and eyes are looking down. As soon as my head and eyes come up and out of the hitting area, the barrel of the bat is going to follow my head and eyes. So one of the things that I always talk to my hitters about is let's discipline ourselves to keep our head and eyes down for at least one count past contact. So I've made contact through the ball. I'm going to count, okay, it's 1,001. Now my head and eyes can come up and I can find the flight of the ball. We don't want our bat path to come off the ball because our head and eyes have left the ball too quickly. Okay, we'll run this forward. Once we get past contact, if our head and eyes have stayed there long enough, I'm going to get good full extension. The barrel of my bat should be facing the pitcher, as yours is, and then we'll finish our swing and do a good job of staying under balance. Okay, the one area that I think where we could clean you up and make you a better hitter and cover all the pitches throughout the strike zone is when this front heel plants into the ground right here. We're going to make sure that this foot is at a 45-degree angle instead of where you were over here at 50 something. Again, that opens up your front side. Okay, so what we want to do to clean this up is I'm going to set a tee on the outer half of the plate. Outer third of the plate would even be better. I'm going to set it up out here, equal with or just inside my front stride foot. Okay, out there, I'm going to put a ball on top of that right here. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that the stride foot lands at a 45-degree angle. All right, now I'm just going to try to bang balls through the right side of the cage. I want to feel the extension of my hands working after I get the connected position. I want my hands to work forward, and then I want to feel the extension of the barrel staying through this ball outer half. So at past contact, if I were to release the barrel and let go of the barrel, my bat should fly through the right side of the cage. If we were going to do this drill on a field, we're going to want to see low line drives through the second baseman and feel my front side staying in and on the ball to allow for good extension through the ball. And again, it all goes back to this front stride foot right here. If we can keep that a little bit more closed, 45 degrees or less, it's going to allow us to stay through balls outer half and outer third. As you get a little bit older, pitchers get a little bit better command of their pitches. They start throwing breaking balls, curveballs, sliders, everything's running away from us from a right-handed pitcher as a right-handed hitter. So I want to be able to stay on that ball and hit that ball as good as I possibly can out there. So I think this is one drill that will help you. I want to thank you for coming to our camp, and best of luck, bub.